Morning sunlight softly filtered through the leaves of the Fairytale Forest, painting everything in golden tones. But something was missing. Yes, the birds! There was a sweet silence in the air, yet not a single chirp could be heard. Snow White reached for her morning tea and looked out the window. Her eyes widened. "Where are the birds?" she whispered gently. Normally, every morning in the forest was like a concert full of melodies. But today, only the wind was singing. Just then, Pinocchio came running down the stone path, his wooden feet clattering with every step. "Snow White, no one in the forest is singing! What's happening?" he said, his voice trembling with worry. Snow White quickly called for the 7 dwarfs. Grumpy frowned, Sleepy rubbed his eyes, and Happy was still smiling, though even he looked puzzled. Doc adjusted his glasses thoughtfully and said, "Maybe the Queen of Birds has lost her voice." "What do you mean?" asked Pinocchio, his nose twitching with curiosity. Doc explained, "Deep within the Fairytale Forest lies a magical crystal, the Song Crystal. It holds the voices of all the birds. If that crystal goes silent, their songs disappear too." Snow White stood tall, her eyes glowing with determination. "Then we must find it," she said firmly. "We can't let the forest stay silent." And the narrator whispered softly, "Now listen closely, dear children, because on this journey, Snow White, Pinocchio, and the 7 dwarfs will discover something that even magic cannot explain, unless you stay with them until the very end." The group packed their tiny bags, lanterns, and courage. Pinocchio's nose twitched again, not from lying this time, but from excitement. The deeper they went into the forest, the quieter it became, until they could only hear the beating of their own hearts. Finally, they reached a dark cave glowing with a faint blue light. Inside were giant crystals shining like stars. But at the center, the Birdsong Crystal was cracked and dim. "Oh no!" sighed Pinocchio sadly. "Can't we fix it?" Snow White knelt beside the crystal and touched it gently. "It can only be healed," she said softly, "by the melody of a pure heart." The dwarfs looked at each other nervously. "We can't sing," grumbled Grumpy. But Snow White closed her eyes, placed a hand over her heart, and began to hum. A single pure note filled the cave, soft, warm, and full of hope. Pinocchio joined in. His wooden voice trembled, yet it was full of sincerity. The crystal began to glow. Its cracks shone with a dazzling blue light, and with a burst of magic, it healed completely. Suddenly, whoosh! Beams of light shot up into the sky. Birds returned from every corner of the forest, their songs twining through the trees like joyful ribbons of sound. The dwarfs clapped, Pinocchio laughed, and Snow White smiled, her eyes sparkling with happiness. The narrator's voice softened again. "You see, my little friends, sometimes to bring back what's lost, you don't need magic or power. Sometimes all you need is the song within your heart." And as the sun set over the Fairytale Forest, a single golden feather drifted gently onto the mossy ground, glowing softly in the twilight. The narrator whispered one last time, "But wait, The next morning, that golden feather brought a new visitor to the forest. Who could it be? You'll have to wait for the next adventure to find out.